Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers.
To the 5, touchdown Auburn!
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama, touchdown run!
And everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep this in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best-kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
what you've got, but there's also, schemes that really rely heavily on the run still. Alabama did it for a long time under Nick Saban. Right. They'd run the pass in there as Luke jumps on board, but they were really, their bread was buttered before Lane Kiffin running the football. And the same here in high school. So, I don't want to get too bought into how good your team's going to be or how bad your team's going to be. We were lucky enough to have Danny Horn around Ellick City for, a decade, Brett? And they do a 7-on-7 camp here and there. And, look, he had a son that went on to play college football and was a quarterback and was a very good player. So, when you had the right quarterback back there, you could go to 7-on-7s and be competitive. But it didn't have – it really didn't tell you the story of how you were going to compete. And he's had some teams over there at Central Clay that, they were probably mediocre on 7-on-7s, and they won state championships once they got the lines of scrimmage built in. So it's a little bit different this year. I know that talking to you during the 7-on-7 the other day, we haven't heard this that often, that, we need the lines of scrimmage in there to really see what we've got. Trust me. When you grow up in Ellick City or you've been around and called games like Brett and I have the last 20-plus years, yes, we've had some odds and end years where we've been able to compete in 6A ball on the lines of scrimmage. But for the most part, we haven't matched what we see on the opposite line of scrimmage. And I'm not knocking the kids that have played there, because we've had kids that have played well above their talent level, just because that's what we have to do. But a little different this year, Brett. We've got 2 or 3 guys on the defensive line that are already getting D1 offers. So when you bring that into the mix, it's going to be a big, big upgrade to what you're seeing. So a lot different than what we've seen in the past, where we've looked unbelievably good at times in 7-on-7s. And when we get into the real game, it's like, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. The lines of scrimmage had to play now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think, and I'll let Luke jump in too here in just a second. I think the lines of scrimmage could be a strength for Benjamin Russell this year. And that's something, like you said, Randy, it's not a knock on anybody in the past, but I think, man, that could really be beneficial to Benjamin Russell leading into the season. And, I talked to Cody, our offensive coordinator, on the, just got here, and he's been at Catholic, and he said, I know how good our offense is, and I watch them every day. And he said in the spring game, we could barely get a snap off, because our defensive line is that good. He said it's one of the best defensive lines he's been around. So I know they're looking forward to that. And the reason we bring that up is because, and Luke can add to this, because on 7-on-7s, you're going to get a lot of points scored, especially when you have the kind of teams that were at that count the other day. And you expect offenses to go up and down the field, but what it does expose is that, you can't run and hide in the secondary when you're trying to cover guys one-on-one. And so what the defensive line helps you with is that pressure on the quarterback. He can't just sit back there and survey the field and wait for guys to break open. Now, you can't hold the ball more than 5 seconds back there, or they'll call a sack on the quarterback. That's part of the rules. So it isn't just like you sitting back there and, finally somebody comes open or falls down and you throw it. So there is a little bit of that, but 5 seconds is a long time. I mean, you sit back there and guys running down the field, it's half the field, 50 yards. I mean, somebody's going to get open in 5 seconds. So it really kind of gives something that the coaching staff can go back to and talk to their players and say, look, hey man, there's going to be times where, they give us a stalemate on the line of scrimmage, and you're going to have to cover a little bit longer than maybe you're used to. So it's an eye-opening thing there, but it was a good camp. I thought Ben Russell competed well. They almost won the 7-on-7 in Troy. They made it to the championship game, lost to a team out of Miami. A very, very good team, very, very speedy team, Coach Johnson told me about. So, yeah, that's something that we all follow right now during this time of year, is these 7-on-7s, as we welcome in Luke.
Good morning. Y'all said everything correctly so far. I don't have any additions or subtractions.
Well, write that down, everybody. Now, maybe we just end the show right there.
Just let it go. I mean, you've reached perfection. My dad used to say that's why his parents quit having children after him. They go, they had his brother. They waited 7 years. Go, wait a minute, maybe this isn't our thing. They said, let's give it one more shot. They had Ricky. And he said they reached perfection. They said, we don't need to have another child.
Don't need to go any further.
Let it go from there.
And he's so perfect that he'd say it a lot better. The story would be a lot better than Luke just gave it if he told the story too.
Oh, there's no question about that. I'm just telling you what he said, but you could hear the story again and it'd be a lot better coming from him.
Well, guys,
Same story.
Let's talk about, we've got a little bit of an extended segment here before we go to our next break, or actually probably our first break for the three of us, since we had a little bit of technical issue this morning getting on with StreamYard. But Cedarian Morgan is a tremendous player. But I'm going to tell you guys, and we'll talk more about him as the show goes on. Obviously, he's got his visit going on at Auburn right now. He'll be in Alabama next week, and that'll end his OVs, and then he'll make a decision on July 2nd. He'll make a verbal decision. It won't be any paper signed, but he'll make a verbal decision, and then we'll go back and forth on that a little bit. But guys, I told y'all who I was very impressed with. We all know Cedarian is a top dog, but BJ Bedgood, Randy, played on a state championship team last year, and he was a major part of that team at Catholic. And when you line him up out there, I watched him go against Auburn High School secondary. I watched him go against Callaway, Georgia, Carrollton, Georgia, rather, not Callaway, but Callaway was there too. But guy's a playmaker, man. And when you add him to the mix with Cedarian and some of the other guys like Eric Young, this is a really deadly receiving core. And we saw one a few years ago that had Malcolm, had Cedarian, a younger version of Cedarian, and several other guys, Chris Foster, David Lawson, those guys that you could mix in there. This is a very, very talented wide receiver core that Ben Russell's going to run out there.
Well, I'll talk about Ben Russell, but I also, kind of tee up a couple of questions on some other guys that you saw there at the camp, because it was the who's who of high school football here in the state of Alabama, and it was a couple of days worth of it. And didn't you say Mary Montgomery?
Mary Montgomery was there, yeah.
Mary Montgomery and Mobile, that's an area of the state, Brett, that's got some public schools that are jumping into the forefront that we haven't talked about in a long time. I mean, Mary Montgomery's been really good the last couple of years. Baker's on a come up. There's multiple schools down there. And, when Luke was coming through, you had Viger High School, which is still there. But you had Viger, you had the Davidsons, you had some of these schools that were always in the mix. And some of those aren't in the mix quite as often as they are, because the Spanish Forts and the Saralands and some other schools have really grown in popularity, not only to high school football, but for people to move into if they've got an athletic kid and they really want to put them in the best program possible. But it's not just those two now. It's some of the best programs in 7A are really becoming those Mobile schools. But, I think that this is a very talented team. I think Kingston Prieur is going to be one that already has an Ole Miss offer, and he's going to get more of those offers. The reason being, when I watched him in the spring game, first off, he's a legit 6'3". He's not a 6'1", 6'2" guy. You can stand him by Cedarian, and there's an inch or two difference, but there's not much more than that, and not many. When you get by a 6'5" guy like Luke, and you think that you want to try to tell everybody you're 6'1" or 6'2", and you're really 5'11" or 6 foot tall, you look 5'11" or 6 foot tall when you stand by Luke. And Cedarian's the same height. And so when you get a quarterback, and I saw some pictures that you took from the camp, Brett, there's not much difference. You have to really take a look real close to see which one is the taller of the two. And so that gives you the size, the arm strength's there. The thing I've been really impressed with him on is his willingness to get on the circuit and really work at what, his craft is. And a lot of kids, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of kids at that age, they really haven't bought into, I need to put this amount of work into it to get what I want in return. And that's not a cut. That's just, I was the same way when I was that age. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, Luke, that I did watch practice basketball pretty hard, but I'm not going to say he practiced it to the level that these kids do now. And Brett, I grew up with you at that age, and I don't think you were hurting yourself in a weight room and 15 years old and traveling the state of Alabama to try to get your basketball craft up to the level it needed to. So I can understand how tough it is to get the buy-in from a kid like that. So that's really where I would start. You know, I think a lot of these players like Eric and BJ are going to have big years because a lot of the eyes are going to be on Sedarian, and I think there'll be running backs that'll have big years because of that too. But you got to have a quarterback to key all of this. And luckily enough for Ellick City, you got a kid that's coming in as a ninth grader that's already won a state championship and thrown for 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and a couple of 1,000 yards, and really just growing into his body from an athleticism standpoint. So he's where I'd start, Luke. Probably will end up with all kinds of offers. I sent Brett a text last night. I saw where Trent Seaborn got his offer back from Alabama, and he was really excited about that yesterday. The three of us had a talk a couple of weeks ago about, I wonder how good the state of Alabama is at the quarterback position in this class that's coming up to be a senior. Well, Brett just raved about, the Myers kid that's currently at Auburn High School, that's been at Pike Road. Everyone I've talked to that's watched him in camps just rave about him. And then Trent Seaborn, did he have his offer rescinded at one point, Luke, and now he's got it back from
I just
Alabama,
don't think he had actually been offered.
Okay.
Now, there's offering and then there's offering. A lot of people say, hey, I got an offer, but if they wanted to commit right there, the coaches would probably say, hey, let's hold off. Really this offer was about if we miss on this other guy, and they may say it more politically correct than that or diplomatically and make it seem like, okay, this is a two-way street when really it's definitely a one-way street. But I think that he did not have necessarily a committable offer at the time. And look, I don't mind that. Some places, LSU offered Dylan Moses and he committed in the 8th grade. I don't mind not being the team that does that, because all that does is give somebody 5 years to say, okay, we know exactly who he's committed to, and that's who we have to target. Whereas if you're uncommitted, then you feel like you have to go against a lot of other folks. But and also it just seems whenever I see somebody's committed to another school, as a freshman or as an 8th grader, it seems sort of desperate to me. Now, that just may be my own personal preference. I think it seems desperate on the school's part. Like, oh God, please commit to us now. We don't care how good you are in 4 years, because you have no idea what that kid's going to become. In 8th grade, he may be the biggest, baddest thing you've ever seen. And by the time he's a sophomore, everybody else is caught up. Dylan Moses was a freakazoid. He was different. We all know this, but I still don't like it. I would rather, I've
always thought it was the silliest thing ever.
I'd rather get a commitment as a junior or a senior and be done with that. Now, we've seen this too, where a lot of kids commit as sophomores and then they decommit, recommit, uncommit, commit somewhere else, and then, end up not signing at all sometimes. So I prefer it if you wait a little bit. I prefer it for the kid too. Let them go enjoy it. I used to be sort of against, like, if you commit, you should be set on that school. And so I'm like, well, maybe just don't commit anymore. Just do like Sedarian's doing a great job. Sedarian's going all over the place. He's having a blast. He's went to Colorado and had a blast. After Colorado, everybody was like, oh man, Colorado's probably in this thing. And then the next thing you know, goes to Florida and he's like, oh my God, Florida's great. And everybody's like, oh no, Florida's in this thing. He'll say, I promise you, after this Auburn trip, he's going to say, man, what a great time I had. They gave me a lot to think about. And then he's going to go to Alabama the next week. And you know what he's going to say? Oh my God, this was fantastic. I loved my trip there. Now, I haven't heard many people come off a trip and go, that was rough, boys. That was a tough 2 days.
It's kind of like taking a tour of 3 all-inclusive resorts in a Caribbean island, and you go from one, and they got all. And
they all want to kiss your butt.
And they're all great. They're all great.
Yeah, it's like they're all trying to sell you timeshares, right. And until you sign, it's awesome. Everything's, guns and roses. I know that's not what the saying is. I was going to say something else. You're lucky I got that. But
we all know where it was going. So anyway.
yeah, but he, when everybody's trying to sign you is fantastic. It's the honeymoon phase, and then when you actually sign on the dotted line, that's when some things really have to start. Now that's changed a little bit because everybody can transfer after about 15 minutes now. So, but I'm telling you, I like the way Sedarian is doing this. I hope he's having a great time with it. That's what it's all about. There, I've seen some people. Justin Clayton just put this up, and I meant to say this. I've seen some people on a couple of boards say, well, this is this year's Caleb Cunningham. I don't think that. I think Caleb Cunningham committed everywhere he went. He'd leave somewhere and go, that's where I'm going. That's my spot right there. And then the next week he'd go somewhere else. No. Y'all forget that other place. That was nothing. This is the place. And then the next week is the same thing. I think Sedarian's just having a good time. Let him go have fun.
He is having a good time. And I think, I've said this. I was on another show yesterday, and they were asking me about Sedarian, and I know the three of us get a lot of questions about him because of our tie and being here and all that. And honestly, his recruitment's not going to stop after July 2nd. It's not like everybody just goes away when he makes a commitment, whether it's going to be, and I think it'll be between Alabama and Auburn when the dust settles. And now that I said that, he'll commit to Florida on July the 2nd. And everybody go, well, boy, you knew a lot, didn't you? But the bottom line is Auburn will continue and Alabama will continue to have to recruit him through the season. And I think for Auburn's standpoint, it's different than Alabama's. If he were to commit to Auburn, well, Auburn's going to have to hold on to him. And the way they hold on to him is proving that they can actually get past 6 wins for a change. And on the flip side, if he doesn't commit to Auburn, and I'm just giving the Auburn side, and Luke, you can give the Alabama side here in a second. But on the flip side, it's vice versa. You're going to have to earn a chance to flip him if he commits to Alabama by winning football games. So really, it's real simple for Auburn at this point. And I think the coaches know that, and the fans know that, and all that stuff. So, and like we just had a guy flip from Florida State a couple of days ago. That's a 27 guy, and that's great and all. And he's a highly touted guy, but I can't get excited anymore about a guy that's 2 years away. Heck, I don't know what's going to happen in 3 months now, much less so much water's under the bridge by then, Randy. I mean, we used to say, oh, man, we got a 27 guy. Now it's like, man, there's so much daggum change between now and then. You just say, okay, that's great, but let's worry about what's going on right now.
I believe it was about this time last year that Sedarius Tootle and Garrett, the linebackers, committed to Auburn, right? And
in July, yeah.
Tootle is already, I mean, I know he's at Auburn this weekend, but a lot of people feel like he may end up flipping to Georgia, and Garrett's already decommitted. And right. Part of that, if you read Auburn boards and their moderators, part of it believe that's sort of a two-way thing. Like, right. Okay, we wanted him this class, but we're not dying for him. And, I've said that before. I mean, people always say that that's an excuse when your team says it, but I'm not going to fall in that trap because I know last year there were some times that happened for Alabama where you feel like, okay, I mean, we would love to have you, but we're not going to offer you what they're offering you in NIL, or we're tired of playing this game. One certain player where you commit, decommit, commit to us, decommit, commit to them again, commit, decommit, commit to us again, then you know what? Stay over there this time. I think that's fair too.
Well, I agree. And, and I'll close out this segment saying, from an Auburn standpoint, I'm dead with you, Brett. It is so difficult to get behind anything that's coming next year or the year after without seeing the way that we play this year, because this coaching staff's done an amazing job of recruiting to a place that's had losing seasons for 4 straight years. I mean, that can't be easy. I mean, it's not easy at all, period, but it's definitely not easy trying to sell a top-notch kid on coming somewhere where you've proven that against your 2 key rivals, you're really not competitive. And against everybody else, you're as mediocre as everybody else is in the SEC. Right. And so you got to start winning. If you do start winning, I think kids love Auburn, and I think we got a coaching staff that can definitely get out there and recruit. But this is like a put up or shut up year. And
it's 100%.
If the put up doesn't happen, then you got a kid and they have offers to Alabama, then I'm not going to sit here as an Auburn fan and say, why in the world would you decommit and go? I mean, at a certain point, you got to go, yeah,
I get
Makes
it.
sense. I hate it. I don't want to say that about my school, but until this coaching staff or whichever coaching staff gets us going in the right direction can sustain some success, then it's hard for me to fight.
Let me tell both of y'all this, and Randy, I think I shared this with you, and I'll share it with Luke. I'm not going to say which coach it was, but I talked to one of Auburn's coaches for a while the other day, and he gets it. He understands it. I mean, all these kids love Auburn. I mean, they do. When they get there, but it's down to the point now you got to prove yourself, and he knows that. He said this coaching staff's done everything they can do. Now they got to win on the field. And he said, well, we've had to get us to this point. And he totally gets that. So there's no excuses on either side. And I think when you look at it from a standpoint of when you're Alabama and you haven't won less than 9 games in 843 years, and Georgia is not too far behind you, and the fact that you've been able to compete with them recruiting, maybe not to their level, but really close, comparable, is a feat in itself, because Alabama and Georgia have an easier sell. I mean, let's be honest about it. They've won. They've proven themselves. They've got it done on the field, and Auburn's sitting over here, well, this happened, or we made a mistake on this quarterback, or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that they've got to one up on us is just look in the NFL, man. Just take your eyes to the NFL. I mean, these kids that sign with these schools, you'd like to think that they've got crimson coming out of their blood or orange and blue. That's not the case. There are maybe a few of them, but not for the most part. They want to know if you're a 4 or 5 star guy. Everybody's telling 4 or 5 star guys you're an NFL talent.
Brandy, let me stop you there. That, at the risk of ticking everybody off, that's the one thing that just, grinds my gears. Listening to Auburn people, listening to Auburn message boards. Everybody loves Auburn so much they just can't go because we only win 6 games. Back off a little. I mean, they love all these schools. And I hate the whole narrative of they love Auburn more and they want to be Auburn people so bad that they just can't go. And no, that's not the case. They enjoy Auburn. Of course they do. They have a great time. They have a great time when they go to Georgia. And it also devalues and de-emphasizes the work that these other schools put in. Let me tell you something. I know everybody thinks that Alabama just throws out some peeled grapes and says, y'all come over here if you want to. We're just kicking butt. Georgia does the same. Ohio State does the same. Those coaches are working hard, just as hard as the Auburn people. Everybody says Auburn's got to work harder. They don't, because Alabama's going up against Ohio State for a lot of dudes. They're going up against Georgia for a lot of dudes and LSU for a lot of dudes. And so they got to work just as hard too, or those teams will take over. When I read an Auburn message board and the people say, God, all these people just love Auburn so much. If we could just get to 8 wins, as if they would give Auburn a discount for getting to 8 wins, and then they'd get all the 5 stars. That's not the case.
But no, I think it's a little bit different than that, Luke. I think what Randy's saying is that, if you do win more than what Auburn's won, then yeah, you probably have a better chance at getting some of these guys, because right now it's an easier sell. I'm not discrediting Alabama or Georgia's work ethic. I don't think they're sitting over there just twiddling thumbs waiting for everybody to roll in. I know they're working. I see them. I'm on the road every week. Okay. I mean, while most people are sitting in an office talking about it, I'm in the schools and I'm running into all these coaches from all these different schools. So I see Alabama's coaches on the road. I see Georgia's coaches on the road. I see Auburn's coaches on the road. I talk to all of them. I don't think anybody's discrediting effort on anybody's part. I think what it is that it is a small miracle that Auburn's been able to recruit in the top 10, 15 when they've been laying eggs all over the field and not performing up to the standard of what Alabama and Georgia is actually a compliment to Alabama and Georgia. They actually go get the players and they actually turn them into, NFL talent.
That was my point is, if you're an offensive lineman and you're looking at Auburn, who's an NFL we can sell? Like, who have we developed?
Braden Smith's it.
And I'm so sick of. He's
he still in the league? I mean, honestly, I'm not asking smart ass. I'm
the
asking.
Marquise Daniels of offensive linemen. We said Marquise Daniels for 15 years at Auburn because that was the only NBA player that we put in the league. And so I mean, that's my point, is when you don't have anybody to side with. Now in Auburn basketball, vice versa, man, you can look in the league and, dude, you got guys that are there, and you got more that are coming. I mean, it is such an easier sell when you've got somebody to point to. I know you're up against a break.
Let me grab a break and we'll keep going. All right, guys, for TV, we appreciate you joining us. Getting a little bit late start this morning, a little technical difficulty, but we are on track now. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Better buildings,
better prices.
Better buildings of Columbus.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We're located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock this morning, and we're glad that you joined us. Getting some comments there rolling in from Justin this morning. We'll get to some of those. And Luke, you were finishing up. Randy, I asked a question in the break of what would be the determining factor for you guys if you were being recruited by, in the current state of Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, just using those 4 schools, and you're being unbiased, take all the fluff out, what would be the factor in you choosing one of those schools? And Luke kind of gave his about, Luke, I'll let you kind of repeat real quick since we're on TV, and then Randy, I'll let you go.
Yeah, obviously, I think NIL would be a small factor for me. For some people, it's a monster factor. And again, I'm taking this from my perspective because it's not as though I came from a financially deprived household. And so I would probably say, yeah, I want some NIL money, but it's not like, and as long as it's not, hey, somebody's giving me $6 million and everybody else is giving me $25, then that's probably not going to be the determining factor. It's going to be involved. It can't be zero. Then I would like to know who's going to develop me. If my goal is to go to the NFL, which most of these kids do have that goal, I'd say, show me how you're going to do it. Now, where it's different for somebody like Kalen DeBoer, you're like, okay, you've been at Alabama for 2 years and you were at Washington. Tell me I'd rather know who you developed at Washington to move on than who you have at Alabama. I would also probably like to talk to some of the other players and say, hey, tell me about this place. It's not necessarily the coaches are going to sell it like nobody's business, but the players, I think that your peers are who can really help you. And then ultimately it'd be, what do I want out of this? I would look for it, honestly, me, and call it a front runner or whatever. I would want to go more to a team that I think is better set up for success. There's no doubt about it. That doesn't mean it couldn't be Auburn, because you look at Alabama and Auburn this year, Auburn's schedule is the easiest it's been in several years. I mean, they got at Baylor. That's not scary. I mean, I know they're only a 3-point favorite or something. That's not a scary game. I mean, if I'm an Auburn fan, I'm feeling like we're going to go there and win that game. Then you got Alabama and Georgia at home, but your road games are, at Vandy. Again, I know what they did last year, but I'm just saying that you still feel pretty good about that. You avoid LSU, you avoid Tennessee, you avoid Florida, you avoid Texas. I mean, pretty good schedule. So, I mean, I could see where that would lead to success too. But, I would really have to listen to my peers probably first and foremost and say, what do you guys think? Do you guys feel like this is on the right track? Because every interview, no matter how bad things were in the Harsin or Dubose or Shula or at the end of Tuberville, whatever, when you got interviews from our friends like Jason Caldwell, who does a great job, or any of the Alabama beat writers like Andrew Bone, and everybody was always painting a pretty picture for the most part. Even though things we could see, we're like, with our eyes, we're like, y'all know Brian Harsin's awful, right? I mean, how do you keep saying we just got to keep chopping wood and family and this? Y'all know he's awful. Like, why are you saying this? Well, they're doing their job too. So, I would like to know it from the players and not necessarily from the coaches who are going to always sell themselves. I think the players will tell you the truth. At least one of the 85 other dudes on there is going to tell you the truth.
Well, for me, I mean, I would need somebody around me, and I don't know if it's a parent, because personally, I don't think that a family member knows enough about ball. They may think they know enough about ball, but a coach or somebody that's a mentor of mine in that sport that knows me and can shoot it straight with me would need to be involved, because the answer for me totally would be, now, I'm not going to take somebody offers me $1 million and the other offers me $250,000. Guys, you got to take the $1 million. But if somebody offers me 800 and the other one offers me $1 million, then I'm going, okay, well, I'm playing the long game here. But the answer is straight development. Because if I'm a 4 or 5 star guy, and it doesn't mean all 4 or 5 star guys go to the NFL. It does not mean that. But I promise you, if you're in Elliott City, Alabama, and anybody that gets rated a 4 or 5 star, Brett, and I bring them up because that's the ones that you deal with the most, every single one of those guys think they're going to be in the NFL, period. And it's the exact same way across the board. I don't care where you are in this country. If you're in an area where you're performing that well and you look that good in camps, you wouldn't get that rating if you didn't. You think you're an NFL guy. So it is a straight development question, and development means a lot of things. It means scheme. It means players around me. If I'm Cam Newton and I look at Mississippi State or Auburn and I notice that the offensive line's in place at Auburn and it's not very good at Mississippi State, I'm going to Auburn. So there's a lot of factors that go in to this that also gives teams that are having success an easier sell. It's a much easier sell when you've got 4 and 5 stars everywhere, and you can look at the talent. And Auburn's kind of closing the gap, but it hasn't been closed in a long time. But if I'm trying to sell a top-notch running back on coming to Auburn or Alabama, my gosh, You know how good a recruiter you've got to be to make that sale.
I think
the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, and Auburn has somehow made that sale several times.
That's my point. I mean,
I think you can be swayed one way or another from time to time. But for the most part, I would like to think the further we get into this thing that kids are getting smarter. You know, I'm proud of the two that we've had recently coming out of Benjamin Russell. I think both of them have handled themselves exceptionally well on the recruiting trail. I think their families have enjoyed it. I think they've made sure to have them part of it, which is wonderful, being from the community we're from. And I think there's a lot more to come. But at the end of the day, I also like that they're not changing their mind 500 times, and it does feel like they're thinking it through. So my answer is very simple. Who is going to make me an NFL player? And I'd love to win championships, and I'd love to get all of these other things, but I think that will come with it if I make the right decision, because part of that decision is going to be success for me personally. So I'm making a very personal decision when I'm deciding where I go.
All right, let's get to break, guys, and we'll come back and we'll continue with this and a lot more. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Red Flag Pest Control is Central Alabama's best in pest control, with hometown service in Lake Martin and now the greater Montgomery area. When you see pests, throw down the red flag. Termites, bed bugs, carpenter bees, mosquitoes, or general pests. Red Flag gets the job done at the right price for your home or business. At Lake Martin, call 888-943-0353 or in Montgomery, 334-265-1831. Red Flag, the best in pest control in Central Alabama.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Comment.
1 second. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill in Sunshine Heating and Air closing out hour number 1 here on the show, and really, really good discussion that I think we're having about really kind of how recruiting goes and kind of what these kids look at and all this kind of stuff. But Randy, what were you saying?
Well, I'm interested as we roll into another conversation here is I want to get Luke's because he's probably talked about it. I'm not sure that you have, because I know you and I haven't yet, Brett, but how this salary cap's going to play in to a change in the way that, roster management is played out. That's one comment I'd like to get y'all's take on, but how much does it change athletics as a whole in college? Do we go to a super division? And football is one conversation we can have, but also one that I keep coming back to, and I don't think that I want to just yet with a daughter not come back to, is how much does it change the sports outside of football when you start talking about money like this? I mean, do some of them go away? Do some stay? Where does Title IX fit into all of this? That Title IX deal is where I'm so confused with college athletics, y'all. I can't get my head around how I'm going to say the libs in this country just because it's too easy for me to bring that up. But
Just
how
say
in
it.
the world the libs in this country?
I think our audience is okay with that.
Yeah, I think they are.
How has Title IX become this far of a back burner issue when we're talking about the sharing of resources, unless they split it apart now?
Well,
We've all been about them splitting it apart.
Well, here's the deal,
But this
Randy.
point, though, let me finish this point, is up to this point they haven't. And there still hasn't been enough of an outcry, and I can't believe that.
Well, I do think there's already been a lawsuit, right? I saw
yesterday.
And frankly, and this may be not the greatest thing for somebody who does podcasts and sports shows to say, I can't pay attention to it right now because I feel like it's all happening so fast. I'm like, y'all hold up. I'm still 4 days back trying to figure out how this works. So how are you already suing about something nobody else even knows what it is yet?
That's the problem, Luke. That's it in a nutshell.
Well, look, on the $20.5 million, and it'll escalate every year. So you can divvy that up however you want to. Now, my understanding, and again, you hear this is from coaches, but I may not have actually seen the quote, but I believe this to be true anyway because it makes the most sense. Of that $20.5 million, I would guess 80%, if you're smart, is going to be dedicated to football. Another 5 to 10% dedicated to men's basketball. And whatever's left, you will divvy it up the best way you know how. Now, Texas Tech seems to say, okay, we're going to throw a lot of our money at softball. Again, more power to them. I hope it works out. I'm not mad at Texas Tech. This is the new era, right? But I'll say this. If Alabama were doing that, I'd be like, y'all got problems. So y'all got bad leadership. Let me tell you why. Football is the only thing that makes money, that we know makes money. Basketball can, on occasion, for different places. But as well as Alabama and Auburn have done, even if they're making money, which is probably a stretch, even if they are making money, it ain't a drop in the bucket of what football's doing. So I want my football team healthy, wealthy, and wise, and strong and powerful first. Then I want basketball because that's the only thing I know probably won't hurt me. Everything else is going to hurt me. And no matter how much money, if I took 100% of that $20.5 million and threw it at women's gymnastics, I will have a great gymnastics team for 2.5 years. Then I'll have to fold up shop because I won't have anything else because football's gone. Do you understand? If you don't use the money on football, you neglect your cash cow. And when you neglect your cash cow and it dies, you don't have anything to feed everybody else. So now some schools aren't going to use their whole $20.5 million. I don't think they can afford to. I think there are some schools like that. Now, I don't know if it'll be an SEC school that'll go that route. But there'll be some lower tier, what do you call it? Non-power 4 schools, group of 4, group of 5, whatever it is now, group of 6. There'll be some of those that probably can't use all that money because they're like, look, that's great that the cap is 20.5. We can't get there. That was our cap before you put a cap on it. Our cap's down here around the 15 area.
I think there's another element to this that it was brought to me that I hadn't even thought about, but a lot of people need to understand that, a lot of our football programs are already maxed out. Okay. But this 20.5, now that the schools can put the money out there directly and don't have to go through the collective, opens the door for, all right, so let's just take a high 5-star guy, and it's Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, and LSU. And this school comes out of the blue, Purdue, and says, I'll pay you $2 million to come up here and be our game-changing wide receiver. Can some of these schools will and are doing that and going to start doing that? And those schools that Auburn and Alabama hadn't had to worry about now are going to be in the mix for a top dog player, because Auburn and Alabama have already maxed their salary cap out. They're already spreading their stuff out thin. These other schools haven't been in the game for some of these guys, so they're willing to take a risk and throw out a big number to see if they can entice them to come to their school and be that guy. So now, to me, it's thrown in a whole new element that Alabama and Georgia and Auburn and Florida have to battle that they hadn't had to battle in the past. Now, I know that's an extreme example, but guys, we've already seen that happen with, I can't remember who it was last year that was, what was it? Going after Travis Hunter? Was it the school up north, like Southwest Missouri State or whatever, that just said they were going to sell out and try to get him for $1 million or whatever, and he ended up not going? But, I mean, you're going to see that be enough to entice somebody to change their mind and make a decision.
Well, I mentioned Texas Tech. Apparently, and again, I'm not going to pretend I keep up with softball transfer portal news, but they got the girl from Stanford last year that nobody can hit, apparently, now, unless you're Texas in the final game. But
and went out and got a bunch of UCLA players.
They went out and got UCLA's best pitcher, and then they got some other transfers. They just said, here's a bunch of cash we don't need. You come over here. Now, again, that strategy can probably work for a lot of places. Well, not a lot of places. It can work for a few places that have this kind of money, and apparently Texas Tech does, and more power to them. But if I'm Texas Tech, I'll say this. I don't mind it on Texas Tech's part, in the sense that, okay, they're going to create a brand around how powerful their softball is, and then let that sort of reverberate through the whole athletic department, hopefully, because if they have it's sort of like what Oklahoma's softball program. I mean, but Oklahoma's put a lot of their softball program. What's their football program done? Gone in the tank. Their basketball program, if I'm Oklahoma, I'm like, hey, those 4 titles were great in softball. Can somebody get me a defensive end, for the love of God? Let's take all the money we were giving to them. Let's sacrifice a few years on that and try to win something on the football field occasionally.
All right, let's take a break here, top of the hour break, and keep this going. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 of the Saturday Sports Countdown coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, TAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Corey's Furniture Express, your expressway to savings. Come on, get on board. Corey's Furniture saves you more. We try harder in every way Express, your expressway to savings.
Ready for an unforgettable escape? Jump into adventure at Lake Martin, Alabama. From thrilling water sports to peaceful fishing spots, it's love at first bite every time you cast your line. Want more excitement? Catch an event with our vibrant festivals, concerts, and fishing tournaments all year long. And when the sun sets, dive downtown to discover local shops, delicious dining, and warm southern hospitality. Explore Lake Martin, where every moment is an adventure waiting to happen.
Yeah, I think.
Well, listen, let me go to Randy, what he asked. And so now there is a clearinghouse, right? There's always been a clearinghouse, but now it's apparently an outside clearinghouse. And any deals over $600 have to pass the smell test. Well,
how's that going to dang?
They're all going to smell like butt, I can tell you that. Every dang one of them. They should.
How many people they got watching all these deals over $600?
Where's the $600 come from? If you had said, hey, it's got to pass the smell test of, and by the way, I'm not sure of this, is it $600 a month, $600 a week, $600 a semester, $600 a quarter, $600 a year? I mean, if it's by the month, I would say, hey, we're not going to even fool with it if it's less than $3,000 a month. We're not going to even touch it because that makes the most sense. At $600, I mean, anybody can afford a $600 anything. And so that means a lot of people are going to be, you're going to have to go through a lot of these things, just junky, stupid things. But if you made it something like $3,000, I think you can make it where you take a lot of work off everybody's head. And also, are you telling me that, okay, he was supposed to be getting $600? You know how much that Thurston Howell III was getting? He's getting $725 a month. Y'all believe that? We're going to put them under the bus.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Who's going to enforce it? Here's the deal. It's all great to set a limit. Who the heck's going to go out and enforce it and say, oh, well, you broke that. Well, what's the penalty? And who's going to do the enforcing of the penalty? This is the dumbest. This is really all. It's just so.
All right, let me see if the both of you, because I think there are a lot of me out there that don't talk this daily and aren't keeping up with it. So let me see if y'all can give a 101 to the 80% of the people that are watching us that don't know what in the world this 20.5 means. All right. Is it all football money?
No.
Okay.
It's across the board.
It's across the board.
Yep.
Can they spend it however is it coming directly from the university?
Yes.
Okay.
And the universities can determine real quick if they want to fund the salary cap. It just gives up to 20.5. Can't go above it.
I know, but if you're going to compete, if you're the top 50 football programs, you better figure this out. Okay. So is that a salary for your entire athletic department?
Yes.
No, your players. The players.
I mean,
players.
I'm so confused.
All right, Randy, listen to this.
Is Title IX only participation now?
Title
Are we still going to have a participation number? And let me ask. So all of our SEC schools lost wrestling due to Title IX, correct? I mean, does anybody still have wrestling? They don't.
No.
They did. No. Auburn had a rich tradition in wrestling.
They just have a club team now. That's all.
Up until Title IX, they had an outstanding wrestling.
We had it at the SAE house, but Jello was involved. It was only Friday
Jello
nights.
and you and 14 beers and 18 Jello shots weren't involved in it. No, but I'm saying like real wrestling program. All of them went away due to Title IX because they had to have the same participation number for women as you do for men. Is that still in play? Okay. Is that going to be in play, or is Title IX gone?
It's still a law. Now, and again, I don't think Title IX, honest to God, I don't think it applies to football, y'all. I might be wrong.
Oh, yeah, it does. The reason you have so many. Because there's.
Y'all keep arguing, I'll look it up.
There's 85 scholarship football players and able to in order to make that number work, you've got to add a lot more women's sports that you don't have on the men's side to offset that number for football.
Well, then tell me how it works at all. I'm asking honestly, not sarcastically. Like at Alabama. Now, I don't know all of our sports, but I think we've only got like in the high 20s of sports. I think that's right. Now, Ohio State has like 50, something nutty. But so I know there's women's basketball and
the answer is yes.
It does apply?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But then how do they make it work? I don't understand where women get the scholarship.
One sport that's real simple for you because your daughter was great at it. Women's soccer. So women's soccer's got a big scholarship number. You know, I don't know what
even
that
if it's 20 or 25.
No, it's more. No, it's more than it's like 40.
Okay,
I mean,
40 helps. I mean that.
Now I'm not saying I don't
half.
know that exact number, but I'm telling you, it's probably between 30 and 40. You'll have to help me, somebody, and we've got friends, all of us do, that could give you that number, but that's a big number. So you're offsetting half there.
So now, volleyball,
women's gymnastics. Yeah, I mean,
I guess it works.
If you put those three sports together, you could come up with anywhere between, what's that, 70 to 90 scholarship athletes.
That does okay. It makes sense. I never thought about it, and I just assumed that football was sort of excluded from that because it made no sense.
So let me tell you where this number gets really hard, though, Brett, is if you're trying to get an athletic department, and we looked at it a couple of years ago, may even been last year, Brett, on which SEC programs made and lost money in what sports.
Right.
You remember this?
Yep.
And, you know, in some years it may look like Alabama loses money in football just because it's a weird year. And then in other years they are making a lot of money. But at the end of the day, football is the only one that makes any money, and basketball. And so the other programs have to be offset not only by football, but by wherever you want to come up with the money to keep these athletic programs going. But if Title IX stays in place, and I don't think it's going anywhere, it's not like you can say, okay, now we're going to keep football going, but we're about to get rid of some of these sports that are just pulling money from, because they can't do that from a participation standpoint and still get those federal dollars.
That's okay. That's the key word, I think, right there.
You got to quit taking federal money. None of them are going to do that. None of them are going to do that.
Have you seen the reports that there are already some private equity firms that are inquiring about how they can get involved? So what I'm saying is, what if Auburn and Alabama and everybody else who's going to remain in the sport, what if their football programs broke away from the university in the sense that they weren't university funded anymore? Like it was now still the Alabama Crimson Tide is still, you know, in our minds tied in with the University of Alabama and Auburn University, but it's not really funded by them anymore. Now, I don't love that idea. I hate that idea.
I don't know how that works.
Basically, what it's going to be, guys, is you're going to have Randy Lee buying Auburn football and being the owner of Auburn football.
But here's what I'm not buying, though, and I know the NFL teams do this to a certain extent sometimes when they partner with cities.
Green Bay.
What I'm not buying is Jordan-Hare Stadium. I'm not buying the Haley Center.
They might have to win it.
I'm not buying the professors that are teaching these kids so-called academics.
They're not in school anymore.
Hey, I said this a year ago, guys. I don't know if y'all remember. All it's going to come down to, if we go down this path, is that AU or that number on the side of the helmet don't mean anything anymore about that. You're not tied to the university anymore. You have finally severed the tie. And Randy, you and I talked about, I know you and I talked about the facility part of this thing.
Yes,
like,
you brought it up.
Because I said, we talked about who's got the leverage. Everybody's like, well, you know, the players have the leverage and all that. Well, you take the stadiums and the school away, who the hell are they playing for? Who they going to play for? Like, I hear that. I hear that you can't have teams without players. But, okay, vice versa. Are you not playing in this stadium? You ain't going on this. Where's the team going? I mean, this thing has gotten to the point now, I think you're really at each other's throat. And if a private equity firm does come in and buy the rights to that so they don't have to succumb to a Title IX issue with the government, then now, like Luke just said, well, probably going to have to rent the stadium now. What kind of price are they going to put on that? Well, you're going to have to rent that thing for $20 million this year. So that private equity firm's going to have to rent that stadium for $20 million. Well, the schools are going to make their money up somehow because they have the facilities.
Let me ask.
I still don't think they can run from Title IX participation, even if they were to do that, Luke.
I don't know. Again, Randy, I think these are all very good questions that I'm not sure anybody has an answer to, but I did just pull up. Auburn has 21 men's and women's sports. And let me just read them out very quickly. For men and women,
let me go to break and let you keep reading them. We're going to go ahead and go to break for TV. We'll come back. We'll keep this discussion going when we get back from commercial break as well. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City. Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
It's mainly the prospects that are asking for the money, though. I don't remember hearing a whole bunch of track and field athletes.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Good topics right there.
I just can't. I cannot get my head around why the conversation, and I love this conversation because it's one that we have a lot. So I do feel semi-knowledgeable about it. And I feel very comfortable coming on shows like this and talking about it. But the thing that just keeps getting under my skin is how in the world we hear, and the same politically all the time. It'll be the Ukraine war that we're talking about all the time, and then Israel and Iran will happen, and then we don't even know what's going on in Ukraine. Nobody wants to talk about it, and they don't care anymore. It's just like, what is the hot topic that we can bring up that's going to spark the most attention? I am shocked that a certain political party in this country is not crying bloody murder over Title IX with college athletics.
Well, you know why? Because they're more worried about other things that affect college sports and sports than it's really gone away from women's rights. If anything, the pendulum swung to the other side. But I want to say one more thing about the football side of what y'all were talking about. We've been talking about, and basically to sum everything up for people on TV, with the way things are going, some sports may go away. I mean, we're just kind of devising that through conversation that you only have X number of dollars to spend and you're going to run out of money. And how are you going to equal Title IX if you're going to stay within the law? Well, some of these other sports go away. Well, I remember the three of us talking about when SEC schedules started to say, well, we're not going to put Troy and we're not going to put Jacksonville State and we're not going to put South Alabama. I know we're still doing that, but we were talking about the potential that not happening and those schools losing those big paydays. And everybody was like, well, how are these schools going to fund their football team moving forward? And that's going to lose scholarship. And we all said to the person on here, we hate it, but life ain't fair. Luke, I very, very distinctly remember you saying that and saying it's not our responsibility to keep up Troy's football program.
100%.
And it's not our responsibility to keep up UNA's football program. All while we are very sympathetic because you know what's going to happen if those programs go away? Lesser kids are going to have opportunity to play college football. And I hate that. But Luke's right on that standpoint, Randy, that it's not Auburn and Alabama's responsibility to fund somebody else's athletic program, and because they need the game. So I hate it too, man. I do. And I hear what you're saying on this, and I sure as hell don't have an answer for it. I don't think anybody does. I think that's why Nick Saban walked away from the table from Donald Trump. I think it was like, oh, yeah, I'll be the guy over the sports commission. Then all of a sudden he's like, I can't figure this out either, and I'm not going to have my name associated with it. I retired to get the heck away from this thing. If I wanted to stay in it, I'd have kept doing what I love to do and coach football. I don't want to fix everybody's problems.
Well, I think you're right, and it sounds so callous when you say, hey, Troy and South Alabama's problems aren't Auburn and Alabama's problems. But it's right, and again, I go back to, for whatever reason, people seem to forget that every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Right.
That if you say, okay, we're going to start paying the kids, where are we going to get the money? We're going to get the money. The money's there. Well, do you think the people that are already making the money are just going to give up making money? Like, oh, yeah, you got us. All right, here's some of the money we were getting. We'll just give some of that up. I don't know anybody who's ever done that. So what they're going to do is there's going to be raised ticket prices. There's going to be raised concession prices. There's going to be raised parking. There's going to be raised everything. Oh, and by the way, we can't afford to keep up some of the same sports anymore. So, and I know that Randy said earlier, well, I hadn't heard a lot of track athletes complaining to get their money. I bet you there have been. I bet you that they have. I mean, look, all you got to do is look at softball now. I mean, one pitcher has probably made it where she's like, hey, I'm worth $1 million somewhere. Every pitcher probably believes I'm worth $1 million somewhere. Now, what they don't plan for is Texas Tech is such a unique albatross of a situation that, yes, it worked out for this one group of players, but it ain't going to be that way for everybody else, and especially ain't going to be that way in the SEC.
And they still didn't win a national title.
Yeah, and they still didn't win it, but they probably should next year because they'll have everybody. But again, I think that when you say, okay, we're going to change the entire, so we need to up in the system. You know, I've been saying this for a long time. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back because there did need to be some change. But when we started with the playoffs, everybody was like, well, we have to do this. We just say every other sport does it. Why does it work that way? And I was like, yeah, but see, college football is unique. We still have the best regular season in sports. It means so much every week. That doesn't mean that much every week. And it's already taking effect. And look,
it's water.
Last year, everybody was like, we need to give those little guys a chance. SMU went over there and got their doors blown off because they're not good enough. I don't mean it mean. Maybe they will be good enough sometime. They got the money to do it. Boise State doesn't. Boise State is capped out. They cannot win a national championship. I don't care what the scenario is. They ain't winning one. They're not good enough. And again, I hate it if you're a Boise State fan and you think I'm crazy. But they're not. And so maybe they need their own thing. So maybe we do need to break away into 48, 64 teams, which again creates a whole nother set of problems. While on surface, I mean, for me, it just makes this NFL light, which I never wanted. In the end, I've come back around to, you know what? It was a little more fun just when the SEC went to the Sugar Bowl. We all knew it. And if we wanted to go to the Sugar Bowl, we just went on January 1st if our team won it. That's how we did it. And if you won the Big 12, you went to the Orange Bowl. If you won the whatever, you went to the Cotton Bowl. Or Big 10, you go to the Rose Bowl.
If you took a poll of people right now, and I would say within X generation, I don't know, people that are 75 years down to our age, would they agree in that age range that football, college athletics is better or worse than where it was 25 years ago? What would they
be? 98% say worse.
Worse. I think Lou just said it. We take something that's pretty good, or almost to the level where we all have some complaints, but we all agreed that it was great. You know, that it was the greatest sport, and we've completely murdered it. It's murdered. It's dead. It's hemorrhaged out. It doesn't exist anymore, and we think, oh, we'll just get better and better, and we'll do this. And every time you add everything I've ever learned in life, the more rules you add, the worse it gets.
Well,
you can't navigate through all this stuff, man.
It's like whenever a bill is introduced, Brett, there's a bill and it's the best. It's a big, beautiful bill. It's a bill that's introduced, and it goes, here's a bill, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some money and we're going to give it to Ukraine to help them out. And it's a humanitarian effort. It's not a war effort. We're just doing it to feed some Ukrainian families, right? And everybody goes, yeah, we can all get behind that. And then some lawmaker will stand up and go, I want to put a rider on that bill. Just something, a little tag along that, yeah, we all want to help the Ukrainians. They're starving. Yeah, sure. We also want to make it where pedophilia is legal now. And everybody goes, well, I'm not voting for that crap. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have a good idea, and then somebody will tag something stupid to it, and it ruins everything. And that's kind of how this is. Like, it's not a bad idea to pay players. It's not a bad idea. It is a bad idea to say everybody can willy-nilly throw money at whoever they want.
It's a bad idea to say that with no plan in place and no rules to govern it. That to me is it. I mean,
well, I know we got to roll off of this.
We got to go to break.
Let me get one more little piece in here before you go to break.
Okay.
It is shocking to me that Riley Gaines, who is the spokesperson against transgender athletes in women's sport, who the hell is the spokesperson for women to Title IX right now? Is anybody?
Well, I think Riley Gaines is de facto that too, because Riley Gaines is saying, hey, look, before we start paying women, let's make sure we define what a woman is. And then, of course,
I hear her angle on that, Luke, but I don't hear enough of an outcry from people.
I agree with you.
How many women's sports are going to go away with this new setup?
Let me get the break, and we'll come back. We'll keep it going. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We're located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. For any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
This spring and summer, make your land, farming, lawn, and landscaping needs have zero risk and 100% success with Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, with 0% financing on all our Mahindra tractors, many with up to 84-month terms. Our inventory of Mahindra tractors and farm implements is beefed up, and more are coming in daily. We also have extended 0% terms on Spartan mowers to handle your mowing needs with the best and zero-turn mowers priced to move. At Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor, your authorized Mahindra and Spartan dealer.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
Presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 30 minutes left in the show today. I love the discussion. We've been on it for an hour and a half. I kind of gave my rant since you two guys just left me here by myself. So I decided to just go on a rant myself. But
Brett, at 52,
yep,
when nature calls, you take the call.
Right,
it's important. Louis C.K. said this about his doctor.
I didn't question why you left.
I know. His doctor said, well, how often do you go to the bathroom? He said, well, and he said, I don't know, doc, but every trip to the bathroom for me now is an emergency. There is no, I can hold it. No, you got to go, or you're going to ruin the seat you're in.
Or ruin the pipes, right?
Yeah.
Let's go back, and I want to shift gears a little bit. I saw this yesterday. Since we kind of are on a politically driven show today, and there's only 30 minutes left, hell, might as well finish it off, right? All right, so I don't know if y'all caught the College World Series opener yesterday and the American flag on the field. And did you see the person that decided, one of the people with the flag out there decided to pull out a Palestinian flag out of their pocket and wave it too? Wild to be two bombers flying over. I mean, there was just a lot to process, but my whole point is this: like, the world is free. To be able to move around. Maybe there's not so much freedom in other countries, but if you don't like it here, okay, here's my decree to people: if you don't like it on this particular patch of soil, you can get on a plane. You can get on a plane. And you can fly to wherever. Like the riots that are going on right now, guys, and I don't want to just go down, but the ironic thing about somebody waving the flag of another country, getting mad about people getting sent to another country, is that, do you not realize what you're doing? Like, if you're pulling for that country, someone go to the country. We're actually telling you can go back. So I don't understand all this stuff, man, sometimes. And like, we take the College World Series, and we're just trying to do the things to honor our country and be respectful, and somebody decides they want to make a spectacle out of it. It's just mind blowing.
Well, let me ask this: I think it's always best now to ask, what's your goal? So if you're on the field holding an American flag, if you're one of the ones that happens to be lucky enough to get out there and do this honor for the College World Series, and you pull out a Palestinian flag, is the goal for you to get people to your side? Or maybe you're trying to bring awareness, but I don't think it's the awareness you want. I think people you're losing more support than anything, because there's nothing. I don't care if you pulled out, honestly, whatever flag. other than the flag you're supposed to be holding. I think it's crap. That's complete bunk, and I hope that person has to face some kind of repercussions.
Y'all see that?
That's just horrible. What is the goal? What are you trying to achieve?
I don't know, man. I really don't know what you. It's frustrating. We're in some crazy times, guys. I mean, I'll just be honest with you, and I'm not going to stay down this path, but I just think that, you're given opportunities in this country to do things. And Randy's points are, I think, what make this country what it is. We try to be equal. We try to bring equality in things. And I don't understand that statement right there.
Well, and I want to go back to that statement, but I'll finish where your thought process is there. There's probably a point in my life where I heard Luke's 5-minute rant to begin with on why Title IX is probably not a good idea. And Luke didn't say it like that, but I mean, I have made that exact same pitch because from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. But the older I get, and I have daughters and y'all have daughters, the more I'm like, you know what? I appreciate that legislation. I do think that you need to do something that gives, our daughters an opportunity to participate in things. And if you don't enact something like that, and it's not a moneymaker, then it would have never happened, but it did happen. And it's been a windfall for women's athletics around the world with the USA. I mean, look at track and field. Look at women's soccer. I mean, good Lord. Don't even get me started as a men's
Justin just said, could U.S. soccer be any more disappointing heading into this worldwide event next year? But
back to my point, though, the women's soccer has been the strength because of Title IX. If you didn't have that college system in women's soccer with Title IX, you'd have never seen what we had happen with that sport over the last, 40 years. But, back to your other point, I think 10 years ago I was a lot more politically correct than I am today. And I think a lot of people agree with you. I think a lot of people feel the same way. There's just, when you get beat over the head constantly, after a while, I don't know if I'm going to let you beat me anymore. I'm pretty certain I'm about to call a spade a spade. And I don't care if you're purple, pink, blue, black, or white. Don't care. If you're doing something negative to me and mine, then I'm about to let everyone know. And I think that, fortunately for this country, I think we're getting to that point. And some people don't like that because it may make the sway of the political spectrum not go in their direction quite as fast as it was.
Well, I know y'all saw, I think it was in Colorado, but I can't remember, where a woman sued for discrimination because she was a straight white female and she had been passed over by several who were, either gay, LGBTQ plus, whatever. And she said, look, and they sided with her. And I was like, okay, that's common sense. I think we can all get behind that. And I think where we've gotten to, and again, people would say I'm dreaming, but I think we've gotten to a point where there's not quite as much discrimination as you think. I think people, as long as everything is green, I think people will be like, look, I don't care about any of these other things. Can you make me money? Then I will hire you. Are you good for my company? If you are a black female, wonderful. If you are an Asian male, wonderful. If you are a Hispanic, what do you call it? Not male or female. They ask you, are gender fluid or whatever. Yeah. Can you make me money? And I think those are the questions.
I can't even remember what to say. That one's eliminated.
I know that was. Well, that's I don't think they just go in there like that. But I think that but when you say that, people jump on you like, oh, you don't believe any of that. No, I think it exists, and I think it will always exist. I hate it when I see a lot of people on Twitter, you will see in a rally for some transgender rights or whatever, which, by the way, I'm always like, what rights don't you have? You want the right as a man who is dressed as a woman to go into the women's restroom. That's not a right. That is something you just want to do. Yeah, and see, I have a daughter, so I don't ever want that.
Yeah, right.
And So
called mental illness is what it's called.
I think that's a problem. Now, but you have the right to go get you a job. You have the right to go. You'll get a driver's license.
You see some people break out in hives and run from something. That right to go get a job, boy, allergic. Boy, I'm talking about rash and all kind of shit break out.
But
it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say you need to go into construction, but I mean, you might go into you might have to pick another field. And by the way, that's just the way it is. I can't just pick. I could say I'm discriminated against because I'm not smart enough to be a scientist. Well, why can't I just do science? You saying I'm not good as you? Yeah, no, you're not. You're not, Luke. You're not smart enough. Okay. I shouldn't take that as an affront. I should take that as, thank God we have people actually who do science that are smart, that we don't have to just let everybody in to do that.
Right. I don't want you making the next drug that's going to keep me alive, nor do you want me doing that.
I'd cure all itis faster than anybody out there. I'd get the war eagle out of everybody.
We're going to break on that one. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville. 256-825-4827.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Better buildings, better prices, better buildings of Columbus.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. '25 RVs are here. Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World.
Going to Jackson High School Monday, so that'll be interesting. That's an interesting 3-hour and 18-minute drive into the middle of nothing. I'm sorry, it's just nothing down on that.
Get as much while you're down there.
We're doing a whole show.
What's the biggest city it's next to?
I don't think many. I think they're all like.
Hey, so we're interviewing four players while we're down. Obviously, Landon and EJ and
Keon Chapman.
And then there's another kid that's in the top 25. I think he's ranked 21st. That's on that. They got 4 kids in the top 25 players in the state.
Wow. They're going to blow through that whole.
All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left on the show today. Just kind of wrapping up things here. We've been feverishly covering. Just kind of give a plug real quick for the HSA side. Our on the road show. We were at the Alabama games yesterday, the opening ceremony, the state games. Appreciate them letting us be on the floor and kind of do our show there yesterday. And then we did an entire on the road show kind of behind the scenes, but super impressed since it's a little bit local with the 2 kids that were the male and female athletes of the year from schools close to us here. The young lady from Sylacauga, Josie Harrison, who happens to be a 14-year-old tennis phenom. Wes Coleman, all of our good friend, is her coach, and so talked to her about that. But very talented. She sang the national anthem yesterday to open the ceremonies, and then Joseph Hooks from Tallahassee, the male athlete of the year, and he's a wrestler, football player, and track. He's going on to play college football at a smaller college. I don't have it on the top of my head, but
is he related to the Hooks that was there a couple years ago?
I think so.
Yeah,
and. Another good friend of ours coached him, John Mask, who's the wrestling coach at Tallahassee, and they ran through everybody this past year, Randy, as you remember, in wrestling. So 2 really, really talented, awesome young men and women there that we were able to interview. You'll see that show coming out next week and all, but just a lot of fun and a great partner of ours there with Alabama Sports Festival and Alabama Sports Foundation.
Well, and you just talked about the On the Road show, and this upcoming week, it won't air for a couple of weeks, but Brett will be on the road and heading down to Jackson High School, which is just a juggernaut. And it's not just in football, man. They're the same in basketball right now. And, you know, the amazing thing about Jackson High School is, yes, some of the football guys are key on the basketball roster, but not really. That's really not the main ones that are making the splash. So, Brett, one question you have got to get an answer for, because it's a constant conversation for the 3 of us, is what in the world is going on
in Jackson
with youth athletics from an administrative standpoint in Jackson, Alabama, for them to have the success that they're having? Because I can assure you this is not just because they get to run athletes. It's not going to be that. They're going to be developing those kids from 7 or 8 years old on up, and they're going to be, 5 or 6 key individuals in that community that's going to be the reason that they're getting these kids to the level that they are, Brett. And so you've got to dig deep and find out why that is, because if any community is really interested in getting to the level that Jackson is, you're going to have to find out how to do it from start to finish.
You are. I mean, it is amazing to get one player in the top 10 from your high school every once in a while. But when you have 4 in the top 25, but 3 in the top 10, I mean, Landon Duckworth's up to number 3 in the state on 24/7. Then you slide down, and E.J. Kroll's number 7. I've seen him as high as 3 on some rankings, other rankings. He's a reclass guy from 27 to 26. He's a phenomenal running back. He'll be making a decision coming up. And then you got Keon Chapman sitting there at number 10. He's a 6'4", 195-pound receiver. And then you go on down. I think the kid's at number 21. No, he's at 22. Jamarian Gordon. He's a safety, 6 foot, 185-pound kid. So they've got 4 kids in the top 25 players in the state of Alabama, man. And outside of the Saraland loss last year, which when they finally got their feet under them, if there had been one more quarter in that game, I'm not sure Jackson wouldn't have won that game. But they just ran through everybody. And unless there's a meteor coming from outer space that's going to hit somewhere, I don't see them stumbling at all. And I think they're on a clear path to repeat again.
Well, back-to-back for basketball too. And those 4 individuals that you bring up there, Duckworth's a good basketball player. He's not a great basketball player. He's not. They're They're a but there's a total different set of names that are key, though, to them winning those state championships in basketball that aren't getting all that acclaim in football. So unreal for a school to have that much talent. And they've always been good, Brett, but I've never known them to be to the level that they are now. So they're doing something right down there. They really are.
They absolutely are. And again, I think when you look at small communities like that, and we talk about this all the time, there's a lot of pride in our small communities in high school athletics, whether it be football or the baseball team. You know, everybody's kind of got something they hang their hat on, but the three of us all love high school athletics, and we love following these recruits, and we know them from a younger age. A lot of people pick up on them when they decide to sign with their particular team, but we follow all of them. Look, we all, like Luke pulls for Malcolm. I know that. I know he wants Malcolm to do well at Auburn. Luke's not an Auburn fan, but, you know, if Sedarian goes to Alabama, I'm pull for Sedarian. I mean, he's a hometown kid. I've known him since he was teeny. And I know you're the same way about that, Randy. So we like to see that. But, you know, now that I've got a chance that Faith and I are on the road every single week, and she's doing a phenomenal job sitting down and talking to these kids about things other than just the sport and getting to know them. And we're giving a snapshot of who they are personally. It gives a little bit more in-depth look to that. So we get to go to their turf. You know, it'd be easy for us to say, hey, we'll catch them when they come to Auburn, the 7-on-7. We could have gotten 3 or 4 of those interviews there, but it's a lot better when you go to their turf and you see their school, you see their facilities, you see their hometown and what they're doing. So that's the thing that's so unique. And I think, Randy, you get those messages, you see them come across all the time on the HSA Facebook page. When you guys come into our school, we saw the show. And we love that. It's gaining a lot of traction. And in 2 weeks, on Monday, we're going to Mae Jemison in Huntsville on the 23rd to sit down with Hezekiah Harris, who's also a top 10 player in the state. He's number 8. He's committed to Auburn to play the edge rusher position. So just a lot of fun getting to go around the state and catch up with these high schools. Let me get the break. We'll come back and we'll finish the show off. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, final segment here on the show. Again, we want to thank everybody that joins us each and every Saturday. Been doing this show a long time, guys. Randy, JR's, and Sunshine Heating and Air, man. We've been so blessed to have two great partners.
Well, Kevin and Sunshine Heat and Air, I'm down at the lake right now and had a little issue with my system, and you give him a phone call, and within an hour he's got somebody down there. And I'm not saying that he's able to do that all the time, but he does do that quite often, and both of y'all know that. And we can't thank Kevin for being a longtime partner of ours. And you and Faith have been in and out of JR's quite a bit here lately, and it's always packed. And
it is.
If you're a restaurant downtown, there's been enough of them that have come and gone, but they stay strong, and they are always packed for a good reason. If you're a packed restaurant, there's only one good reason, that is that you're delivering good food and a good atmosphere, and JR's always done that.
They have, and again, we appreciate them so very much. All right, to kind of close out the show today, again, we'll be continuing to follow a lot of our local kids, guys. I mean, really on tap here in a couple of weeks. We'll be following Sedarian and his decision. He's at Auburn this weekend. He'll be at Alabama next weekend. Luke, I'll try to get some scoop, obviously, over the weekend about his trip to Auburn and to deliver that next week on the podcast. And, Luke, I know you'll have the insight on him next week when he travels up to Tuscaloosa. But, look, just proud that Benjamin Russell and a lot of our surrounding teams like Reeltown, Clay Central, all of them have had really, really good successes here lately. And I think we're looking forward to another exciting high school football season coming up here in not too long now.
Yeah, it's going to be here before we know it. And we got some great matchups to start the season. You know, Ben Russell starts with Opelika again on the road at Opelika. Yeah, we're going to have a really good team, but you better be good. If you're going to go on the road over there and play those boys, because I do think Opelika's coached up as good as anybody can coach them up.
That's a Thursday, right?
No, that's a Friday.
Okay.
Clay Central's a Thursday the next week. Yep.
And then, you get a good little week of rest, and then you bring Clay Central in. And
on a short week.
On a short week. And we all know what Central Clay is. They're just a juggernaut right now, man. I mean, you just can't say enough great things about the Horns when they're in charge over in that Clay County area. I mean, they lost a tough one in the third round to Montgomery Catholic last year, but they went 12-1, Brett. And you think, Central Clay, because they become a bit of a rival of Benjamin Russell's, you think, man, you know what? It's kind of like Alabama in basketball the year after Miller and that freak show of a crew came through. You're like, I'm kind of hoping this next year they have a little down cycle.
It never happened.
And it doesn't happen. And I told Brett this a couple of weeks ago, and I mean it. It all starts with your youth programs, and you can kind of watch it in the high school ranks to see what's coming through. Well, unfortunately, when we've played Central Clay in Ellick City for the last umpteen years with our youth programs, they beat our ever-loving brains in the middle school and in ninth grade and the JV. And I've watched my nephew and them not get beat, just get beat slap up. So those first 2 weeks, congratulations, Kirk Johnson. You walked into a wonderful setup. You get Opelika week 1, and then you get Danny Horn week 2.
Hey,
So
he ain't lost a game since Buck was a calf, and then he walks into this schedule. All right,
going in the first few games against the Super Friends and the Avengers. That's all.
That's it. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the TV side. We'll hang on for just a second on the social media side to close things out. But we appreciate everybody on TV each and every week. We'll be back with you same time, same place next week for more of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state, and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Summertime is a special time. Time on the water, time away from work, and more time with family and friends. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sublett, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dadeville. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.